Hey everybody, welcome to Meet the Makers. Throughout the course of the launch week, we'll be diving deep into the features released that day with the team that built them. Today we're very excited to release a brand new Postgres service as a public beta. With this release, we'll be exposing access to the Postgres Wire protocol so you can plug into your favorite ORM, analytics, or developer tooling. This is a big shift for Xata and we can't wait to get it in the hands of our users. So let's dive right in with a quick round of introductions so you all can meet the team. My name is Alex Frankmore. I'm head of product here at Xata, and Monica, why don't we get started with you? What's your name, where are you from, and something unique about yourself?
Hi everyone. I'm Monica. I'm the CEO and founder of Xata, and I live in Berlin, and I like baking and traveling.
My name is Alexis, and I'm the tech lead for the front-end team. I live nearby Barcelona in Spain, and some of my hobbies are programming and building a lot of different things with code, and also some audio engineering and cleaning up audio bits.
Hey, I'm Kostas. I live in Athens, in Greece, and I am the person responding to most of your questions on Discord and support, so you may hear from me if you talk to Xata.
Hey, I'm a backend engineer, and I'm based in Valencia, Spain. And personally, one of my hobbies are rock climbing, and I'm also getting into woodworking a little bit lately.
Amy, and I live in Budapest, Hungary, and I'm part of the backend team, and I spend most of my days working on SQL, and I like to read. I don't have interesting hobbies like climbing. And Sorin, do you mind introducing yourself?
Sure. Hi. My name is Sorin. I'm also a backend engineer. I also work with SQL. I'm based in London, and something about me, I love the Xata butterflies.
Who doesn't love the Xata butterflies, though, right?
Yeah.
Our mascots are great. Next is kind of like an extra special part, I think, for our first launch day. This is a pretty big announcement from Xata, offering our first Postgres service. And Monica, I had a couple of questions for you specifically. And just kind of like to level set, I guess, when you founded Xata, did you see yourself building a serverless Postgres offering initially?
Yeah, so our goal was, I didn't see this coming. Our goal was to build a database that makes it easier for developers to build faster applications and scalable applications. After a few iterations, we decided from the beginning to build a solution on top of Postgres and Elasticsearch. And basically now with this launch, we are launching a Postgres service, a serverless Postgres service.
And what kind of prompted the decision to invest more in Postgres and join that community? I guess what were some of the original decisions?
I think it's very interesting what happened in the last few years. There are lots Postgres community grew so much, and Postgres basically is the fastest growing database. And there is this trend that companies are moving from like Oracle solutions or MongoDB solution to Postgres. So more and more companies are adopting Postgres, and we think there is an opportunity for us to build the tooling that companies need around Postgres to make it easier for them to build applications. So that's why we are very excited about our next journey.
Yeah, it's a big move, and I know I'm pretty excited about it as well. For the general direction of Xata, and I guess this with this move to Postgres, what excites you most about the future?
Yeah, I think the opportunity that we have, this excites us, and I think Postgres is a very stable database. It's there for many years. It's the most adopted database nowadays. And I think we have so many ideas of features that we can improve. And basically, our plan is to kind of build an open source project for each of these pain points that people have with Postgres and kind of provide overall tooling for that you need to make it easier to kind of manage and also build applications on top of Postgres.
Perfect. Yeah, and some examples of the tooling recently, at least, was our PG role release late last year, which offers zero downtime schema migrations, zero downtime reversible schema migrations.
Yes.
And addition, yeah, go ahead, Monica.
Yeah, in addition, we also make it very easy for companies to, especially images are very common in many applications, especially web applications. So we have this option to have file attachment as a native data type in database.
Yeah, it's certainly been exciting building around Postgres, and now the ability to expose it directly, it certainly opens up a ton of opportunities. And so maybe that's a good segue into kind of some of my next line of questions, and I'll open it up to the team. Kostas, I might direct this one at you. But what are some of the pain points that essentially providing this Postgres service will address for our user base?
So we have been open about our architecture. We have documented it. It's out there in the docs for everybody to read about how Xata works under the hood. And users who read about architecture being based on Postgres and Elasticsearch have very often requested some features that they know are available in Postgres, but they weren't part of the Xata API yet. So it would be a shame if the underlying infrastructure could support these kind of possibilities, and we wouldn't still expose them in the data API because it is an additional layer on top of Postgres. And we wanted to enable our users to still access all of the possibilities that are already there, and we are built on top of all of these possibilities that Postgres offers. However, they are barred behind the API. That is not to diminish the value of our API because it simplifies access, it simplifies requests and interactions with the database. It helps you get started much faster and overall puts you in the right path to be successful with interfacing with our database. However, unlocking additional capabilities and features was one of our drivers behind these decisions.
Yeah, no. If you check out our Discord, you can definitely see the requests coming through for just native Postgres support. So I think this will hopefully answer a number of questions or a number of those feature requests. And so I guess on the more of like the building side and the development over the last couple of months, maybe I'll direct this to Noemi, to you, and you as well, Alexis, on the front end. But Noemi, you've been kind of involved in the SQL world for a little while from a Xata perspective, building out our REST endpoint late last year. What were some of the key decisions that you had to make building out that SQL proxy? Was anything coming to mind as like a make or break decision?
What we had to consider when developing the REST endpoint is that most of the free users live in the same shared cluster, and we had to make sure that they cannot interfere with each other, and we had to make sure that everyone gets basically access to their database. No one can hog all of the resources from the others.
Yeah, Noemi's referencing our shared cell architecture too, which is documented in the Xata docs. And so this definitely introduced some complexity, I think, with how the features used and how it's delivered. So things weren't as straightforward as they could have been by just providing pure Postgres. Alexis, on the front end, was there anything that came up as like, I don't know, like I know we had to make some decisions around what gets loaded in the table and how to support different types of Postgres types. But does anything come to mind as like a make or break decision that you had to deal with?
Well, bringing support for Postgres, it's huge. Postgres allows a lot of different things, not only on types that are supported within a database, but also the different constraints that you can add to a column and how they interact with relationships between tables, etc. So trying to add all of that into the front end was a major effort. And we tried to do it iteratively and try to increase the adoption of our Postgres usage and what we are showing in the front end over time. And right now we are offering quite a good level of support of the most used Postgres features in the front end, and we will continue increasing that support over time so that we can offer all the possibilities that Postgres allows you to do. And not only that, we are also adding a new way to introduce migrations that are based on top of PG role, and we are keen to also support multiple active schemas within Postgres and also exposing that within the front end.
Yeah, so we're just getting started, and it's probably worth noting here that we are launching this as a public beta initially, and we'll continue to iterate and improve and support additional types. And so maybe, who haven't I picked on? Alejandro, if you could go back in time, would you do anything different when building this?
I think it's too early to answer that. So far, I think we took a pretty good approach because we actually started with this POC where we wanted to provide some kind of raw SQL support through the already existing API, right? And I think this was good because we got some early feedback on this, and we were able to start to implement things in the backend side on top of our existing API. And this provided, I think, some information and some data on how to actually build what we built separated from the existing API with the new services, with the new direct connections. So yeah, we'll see, but I think we took a good approach.
Yeah, I'd agree. It's a good first step. And Soren, you haven't spoken yet, so I'm going to pick on you. And I know you worked in the past and even now on replication between like our Postgres database and our Elasticsearch deployment to provide full text search around Postgres. And so, I mean, was there anything as we built out kind of these new Postgres branches with support for PG rule that you would look back on as a memorable moment, good or bad?
Yeah, it's let me think a bit. I think I would actually talk about the big move actually that was required in this in enabling our Postgres service. And just to give some context, we have these replication services in the backend that replicate all the data to Elasticsearch so that we can offer a turnkey solution for free text search. While what we had in Xata 1.0 was a very tight coupled solution. And I think what was great with what we implemented right now is that we managed to decouple that from our Xata infrastructure. So it's we still have it now, but the difference, the replication still works today. The difference is that we can now take this and attach to any Postgres service around. So we are no longer tied to Xata, and this opens a lot of possibilities in even having it like a different service outside of Xata. Yeah, I think that's cool in what we did in that area.
Yeah, and there'll be more to come on that in the future too. And so it's definitely it feels like it was a good lift. Now I'll probably let's just see who answers, but otherwise I'll start poking at folks. But I guess if you could talk to your users directly, and a lot of us do anyway, but if you could talk to them directly, what types of feedback would you like from this implementation and this shift towards Postgres? Yes, please.
I mean, I don't know if this should be a goal, but I would definitely like to not have feedback. I would like people to just use it as an existing Postgres service and say, oh, this is Postgres. I know how to do it. It just works as I expected. It will be quite cool.
Yeah. In this case, no feedback might be a good sign. Like everything is working as expected.
I think we will be curious to hear what people think about our shared approach. So we wanted to kind of offer a free tier, a generous free tier plan that offers high availability with no stopping your instance after a short period of time. And we kind of want to hear people's opinion, how this is helping their personal projects, hobbies, or nonprofit organizations, to hear about their feedback on our approach of shared cluster. So we built this idea of a shared cluster in order to provide a free tier, and that doesn't cost us a lot of money. So it cost us, our goal was to be less than $1.5 per month, and we're trying to reduce this amount to even a lower amount in order to be affordable for us as a company to provide for all our builders and nonprofit organizations to build their applications and use a database with our free tier plan.
Also related to that, I think that all the branching capabilities that we launch with the workflow and that we are aiming to make fully work with Postgres so that they are able to use it, and the cost benefit of having development branches that live in shared clusters will be something very appealing for development teams, so that they don't need to spend a lot of resources and pay a lot for having development preview branches on their database service.
Yeah, I'd agree. That's definitely something I'd love to receive feedback on. I also agree that we don't want feedback in a number of the things. Like, it would be wonderful if it's just perfect. And I know Kostas would appreciate that. But Kostas, this I'm going to direct directly at you. Kind of the same question. You get a lot of enhancement requests, a lot of troubleshooting cases, and so what would you like to see out of this feature, and what kind of feedback would you like to hear from our users?
Yeah, let's not forget that Xata is not just a serverless Postgres service now. It is a complete data platform that enhances Postgres and its ecosystem with additional features. So there is file attachments, there is free text search, and many more capabilities built into Xata, some of which have been mentioned by my colleagues here. So I cannot wait to see how our users will be utilizing these features alongside the direct Postgres access. So some of these features are still available only via the Xata data API. So they are not available from the Postgres wire protocol. So certainly some aspects of our API will still be useful and will be necessary to integrate with wire protocol access in order to use the full set of features. So I cannot wait to hear from our users how this plays into their use cases, if they have any additional enhancement requests from Xata to bake these features differently, maybe. How do we expose them and make them play easier with the wire protocol? So we are anticipating some feedback there, and we want to see real-world use cases being built. So we can work with our users to determine the best approach that will work for them in their real-world applications. I also wanted to reinstate that the wire protocol opens up the possibility to connect with a variety of data sources that it was not possible yet via the Xata API. Actually, it is possible, but it requires work. Xata offers a few clients that you can use to connect with. The TypeScript SDK, the Python SDK, there's an alpha version of a Go SDK, and then there's the raw REST API that you can use to connect from any data source. We have used that to connect some of our integrations, like Zapier integration. There's also the Airbyte integration that you can use to send data or update data in Xata over the REST API. However, the wire protocol connectivity opens up a connectivity with a variety of tools that were built to talk to Postgres and talk to Postgres over wire protocol. that now most of them, for the most part, we're still building on it, will be able to talk to Xata directly. So the amount of integrations we can immediately connect to is an entirely new world now.
And I think it's worth noting that with this launch, we are also launching the integrations with Prisma and Drizzle that we are very excited to have. So if you are already using Prisma or Drizzle, then you are able to choose your database, and we hope to be Xata, one of them.
And of course, even using the RawWire protocol will still allow you to view your data in the Xata UI, which is user-friendly and our users have been appreciating a lot. So it makes it much easier to work both with SQL and at the same time have a very nice and robust UI to interact with your data. So this combination of capabilities, we hope, will be appreciated by our community.
Thanks everybody for sharing kind of your thoughts around what feedback we'd like to hear from users and how we built it. I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic to Alexis to give a quick demo of what this actually looks like.
Cool. So for this demo, we're going to migrate one SaaS project, which is called dap.co, an amazing short-link utility built by Stephanie, a former Vercel employee, that it's completely open source. So you can actually go into GitHub and check out all the source code and deploy it yourself. They even have some documentation on how to set it up yourself locally if you need to. And mainly the tech stack that they are currently using, it's Tinybird for the ClickHouse database. They're also using AppStash for Redis database. They have PlanetScale for their MySQL database, which we are going to replace with Xata for a Postgres database. They use GitHub Cloud for the logging, and also Google and single sign-on through Jackson. They have Postmark to send emails, and Cloudinary, Unsplash, etc. I have already followed these instructions to create the necessary credentials for the demo, because we are not going to showcase how to create a ClickHouse database right now. But everything is set up except for the database, which we are going to replace. So let me start the stopwatch to see how much time we are able to actually migrate from PlanetScale MySQL to Xata Postgres. As you can see, my workspace in Xata is completely empty. I have created a new dap.co workspace. And let's create a new database called dap. I'm located in North Virginia. I'm enabling the new beta feature for direct access to Postgres, which we are going to use. And as you can see, we have just created one empty database. There's nothing in your schema, etc. So let's go into code. Here I have checked out the repo. I have installed the dependencies because it takes a while. And as you can see, in my Git log, I'm actually on main with the latest changes that were located in the repo. No other changes have been made to the code. So let's remove, first of all, the doc site, because we are not going to check it out. And inside the web app, we need to figure out, okay, what needs to be changed. First of all, let me connect it to the Xata. So I'm going to the apps web package, and I'm going to run my CLI with the next stack, so the newest version for the beta. And let's say that I want to connect to Xata. So it's telling me, hey, do you want to generate some TypeScript code? It's also detecting the workspace I was working, because it's my default. And I want to create my Xata.ts file under lib, which is, if you see, all the different connectors with external services are living under lib. So let's create it. Okay, yeah, I'm using pnpm. I want to install the client. It's actually telling me, hey, you have already added the Xata API key. Yeah, I know. I created it myself. So yeah, after this step, now we will have Xata.ts file here. The Xata SDK installed it. If we go to the Prisma file, we will just let it work behind the scenes. You can notice that for Prisma, the good thing of Prisma is that it works with different database providers. So we can actually change it with one line of code to a different provider. Let's migrate to PostgreSQL. because we want to use Postgres instead of MySQL. And we will need to adapt a little bit the scheme. First of all, let's remove full text index, which is not supported by Postgres currently in Prisma, and also remove the index that we have for it. Other changes is that, long text, it's not recognized as a type in Postgres, but instead we can rename it to text, which will work just fine. And a limitation that we currently have in the beta, but will be solved very soon, is that enums are not currently working with Postgres. So let's rename the role enum into a string, set it up to none. And with all these changes, I think everything it's set up for Prisma to work with Xata. So now, as you can see, we already finished the process to initializing Xata. We can see the empty codes here. It's connecting to our workspace in the database that we had, creating the Xata client. Everything is prepared for us. So let's run Prisma to handle the migrations. Prisma db push. And now Prisma, it's creating all the different tables in Xata that we have defined here in our scheme. So we have user, account, token, verification token, etc. And now if we switch tabs, we can see that, hey, a lot of tables are appearing here. Account, link, project, user, the same ones that we had defined in our schema at Prisma. It has already finished. And since we want to use them completely with Xata, we see here, notice, hey, these tables are not created by Xata, they were created by someone else. Do you want to adapt them to work with the UI and the SDK, etc.? Yeah, sure. So we click one time, and now all the tables are being migrated and creating internal fields like Xata_ID, etc. And we can see the complex schema that currently lives for that. Cool. Now that we have migrated Prisma, what else do we need to migrate? Well, we see here a very suspicious file called PlanetScale. Let's see what they are doing here. And yeah, of course, they are not only using Prisma, they are also connecting from the edge through the PlanetScale SDK. So this is a direct dependency with PlanetScale. Okay, let's remove it and convert it to Xata. So let's import the Xata client from our newly created Xata file. And instead of going to all the different places where they are calling SQL, we're going to rewrite it into something similar that mimics what the PlanetScale SDK look like. So we have execute with a statement and some params, which is an array of things. We don't care about them. And this will actually call our Xata SDK. So we will return some records from Xata. Oh yeah, I have an initialized Xata, so on Xata equals new Xata client from there. Now I have some autocomplete. If I want to use the API, I would have here all my databases, but I'm going to use SQL because this is what they were using. Yeah, statement, some params. This is returning. Let's wait it. Some records. This is a sync operation. And if we check, they are returning rows. So rows. And now we have migrated completely the edge runtime for PlanetScale with the HTTP endpoint for Xata. And finally, what we also need to update is a single sign-on on all the OAuth part for handling the connection details. It also doesn't go through Prisma. It goes directly from Jackson, which is a library for handling that. And of course, they also offer the fairness strategies. Let's switch to the SQL part. And instead of MySQL, we are going to switch to Postgres. And since we already ran all the migrations and I want to go a little bit quicker, I will say that, manual migrations have happened. You don't need to migrate. And with all of this, we should have everything set to run it local. Just to review the changes, we removed the doc side, which we don't need right now. We have updated the schema from Prisma. We have created the connection details for the SDK, updated the connection via HTTP to the SQL, and updated the Jackson single sign-on. So with all of this, we should be able to run pnpm dev and see if it runs locally, and hopefully we'll have everything ready to try it out. Okay, perfect. So now it has loaded. I have cleared my cookies so that I'm no longer signed in with my demo. And I will say, yeah, I'm going to use a GitHub provider. So this is going now to GitHub, changing my credentials. I have my session open, so it's not asking me to validate. And hey, yeah, we are logged in. Let's click on Get Started. Let's create a new project. I don't have a domain. I want you to set me up. And this is a test. Which this is the test to Slack, project. And now I don't want to pay. I don't even have a Stripe set up. And now we can see that we have initialized everything. That.co is working locally. It's going a little bit slow, but I don't think that's my fault. And if we go to the schema, and actually we go to the project table, hey, we now have one project. This was empty before. We have the This is a Test project. It's a part of the free plan. And we can even change things in the database. Don't do this on production. But let's say that we change the Slack. And now this is a test. This is a test too. So we refresh. And project not found. But if I change the Slack to this is a test too, hey, now it's working again. Oh, yeah. As you can see, everything is connected just under the 10-minute mark. And yeah, it has not been painful at all to migrate from PlanetScale MySQL to Xata Postgres. I hope you liked the demo. This is just some of the amazing things that you can build with Xata.
Oh, thanks, Alexis. What a wonderful demo. That was great. Monica, I don't know if you want to share any last words before we wrap up this session and Meet the Makers.
Yeah, for us, we love to hear, to give it a try and hear from you what was your experience. So today, just to recap, today we are launching a new serverless Postgres offering where you can basically connect with any Postgres client that you are using or other OEMs. We have integration with Prisma and Drizzle so far. And we love to hear as well your thoughts, and love to see you in Discord.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. You heard from Monica. Come check us out in Discord. If you have any questions, come say hi. And we look forward to engaging with you in the launch week this week. It's an exciting moment for the team, and we hope you like the features that we're rolling out. Thanks everybody for participating, and have a great rest of your day.